Welcome to our investigative journey into the unseen threats gripping our planet. From climate change to lurking pollution, join us as we unravel the challenges jeopardizing our environment.
This is not just a story, it's a quest for solutions. Get ready to unveil the truth and navigate the critical path to a thriving, sustainable future. I am Rhea San Pedro.
And this is Rom Sende.
This is Dr. How.
In this two-part episode, let's get to know the buzz with noise hazards and everything that's a must with marasmus. The city never sleeps. Its symphony is one of honking horns, screeching brakes, and the incessant thrum of construction. For most, it's a soundtrack to life, a backdrop to the daily grind. But for Angel, it was a death spell.
The first story is taken us by surprise. We see how noise hazard impacts human physiology. That is, how it muffles the human heart.
At 32, Angel is a picture of health. An avid runner with a clean diet and minimal stress. She didn't anticipate it when her heart rate and blood pressure swings as she goes about her work. Working in a can manufacturing plant, Angel described how the machinery vibrated the rooms.
For his doctor, suspicion sprouted: noise pollution. While seemingly far-fetched, the constant, low-frequency vibrations from the heavy machinery mirrored the chronic stress response in Angelito's body, which became catastrophic to his heart.
So how do we explain what happened to Angelito?
Sound is everywhere. So from construction to thunderclaps, traffic noise to concerts, sound is an inevitable part of life. Andiyan na talaga yan. But to a certain extent, what is seemingly innocent can affect the health of millions of people globally. So this is what we call noise pollution. It is any unwanted or disturbing sounds that could affect the health of humans and other organisms.
There's this study in Malaysia that examines occupational noise levels and their impact on worker safety, particularly heart rate issues in the manufacturing industry. Can you imagine? In addition, according to this study, occupational noise exposure also impacts workers' blood pressure. Let's see our experts take on this.
While yung most common problem is noise-induced hearing loss, where constant exposure to loud sounds can damage the person's ears. Noise pollution can also cause problems to our hearts. So it's been determined to cause high blood pressure, heart disease, sleep disturbances, but then stress, and this affects all age groups.
So, various studies have shown that persistent exposure to noise increases mental and physiological stress reactions, causing the development of cardiovascular risk factors such as yung high blood pressure, heart rate, blood sugar, and fat. Long-term exposure naman to as little as 30 decibels may lead to hypertension, coronary heart disease, heart failure, arrhythmia, and stroke and heart attack.
So who would have thought that all these sounds would be catastrophic to our health?
So ang nangyayari when we constantly get exposed to noise, especially at higher decibels, our heart rates increase, which persists well after the noise stops. The noise also triggers our stress response by stimulating the release of catecholamines, like adrenaline, which likewise elevates our blood pressures and heart rate.
So yung tinatawag nating nervous system ng ating katawan ay na-activate. That is, yung fight or flight response natin. And this causes a release of hormones that alters the natural balance of the body. So yung sinabi natin kanina, one of the organs that may be affected is the heart. Kaya yung mga taong may pre-existing heart conditions, they become more susceptible to the negative effects of noise pollution.
Is there anything we can do to avoid this? Apparently yes and no. It is a fact that we cannot eliminate noise. It's part of life, but there are ways to control it. While noise reduction from the source remains to be the most ideal, the simplest way to mitigate this is to use hearing protective devices such as earplugs or earmuffs, especially when in high exposure areas, like in the city or in industrial settings.
And so, armed with noise-cancelling headphones, Angelica strode through the city park, eyes defiant. A new woman's story, and we're finally starting to listen. Now, perhaps we can find a symphony, not just of sounds, but of health and well-being for all.
We focus on a condition that quietly infiltrates the lives of numerous children, robbing them not only of their energy and youthfulness, but also their promise. Every day, 95 children in the Philippines die from malnutrition, and 27 out of 1,000 Filipino children do not get past their 5th birthday. One of the reasons include a condition called marasmus.
Lisod kayo ang kinabuhi. Binasa akong mga anak ba. Siklang tubig kamot na makakaon bitaw sila. Kanang himsok man tayo ilang lawas pero cute. Nanoris man gihapon. Sabuan na jud mi mabuhat ani.
So, marasmus occurs when the body is deprived of essential nutrients for so long. So, nakakastunto ng growth and development, and marami siyang consequences. So, it affects not only physical health, but also cognitive abilities. And as time passes, many people suffer.
Unfortunately, marasmus is more prevalent in impoverished children compared to how tall they are using standard tables. In fact, the weight of a child with marasmus drops by around 60% less than normal for their age, height, and gender. Now, we have the experts here in the field to tell us more about this serious condition.
So, marasmus causes growth issues and reduction in muscle mass. The good thing is that it doesn't really affect proteins in our blood like other malnutrition conditions because there's this hunger hormone we call leptin. So, leptin stirs the stress response of our body, so it will trigger cortisol. So, cortisol is a stress hormone that we use in our body.
Actually, your protein level can still be affected in marasmus. Since only muscle is left to be broken down, our bodies have no other choice but to use proteins, and it then causes growth stunting.
When marasmus is left untreated, maraming complications na nangyayari. Like some of these are refeeding syndrome, cardiac problems na parang arrhythmia, infections, malabsorption, bradycardia, hypotension, hypothermia, etc. And this may all contribute to the fatality of the disease. Kaya ang dami talagang batang namamatay dito, especially those from impoverished communities.
All of these are truly eye-opening. How our health, especially our children, are shaped and influenced sometimes by things beyond physiology and our control. That is, our capacity to provide and educate our families as well.
But amidst the darkness, there are beacons of hope. Individuals and organizations committed to breaking the cycle of malnutrition. As parents look over their families, they cannot feel anything but hope for a fuller tomorrow for their children.
2 lives, 10 minutes, countless stories. From the symphony of conversation and busy streets to the orchestra of silverwares to balls, we are reminded not to take the simplest things for granted. And as we navigate through the clockwork of life, we never forget that the life we live is a life shared, that we have the power to make a difference that is beyond ourselves.
I am Rangel San Pedro,
I am Ramsendin, and
this is Dr. How.